Hello, my name is Harry Tumbuatco. I'm sitting in for Eric Espina. Our condolences to his uncle. As we go on in this last portion, the last portion of this interview, we have General Jose Almonte. I'd like to bring it up to the current event, but before anything else, I'd like to entice you to introduce to you the book. It's called Endless Journey. You can get this book in Fully Booked. Learn about it. It's not necessarily just about the history or the last 80 years or the autobiography of General Almonte, but try and understand our history, the sensitivities of the politics that were played, the role of the 4 or 5 presidents that are involved, and how to help you analyze the current events today. General Almonte, let's go a little fast forward because a lot of people are also wondering. They want to know the exasperation that this government has been causing. Let's go to the Mama Sapano incident. Now, you're a man from the military. You can see that you've had experiences with intelligence. Nakikita nyo in different forms. Other things that we do not see. Now, very closely working with former President Ramos, who was the founder of the Special Action Force. He is deeply hurt. We saw that on television. He is not just hurt. He is angry. He is mad. And he has to let this out. But how, when what we get are conflicting statements? General Napeñas doesn't look as stupid as Pinoy makes him look. General Purisima does not look as honestly not involved as he tries to make himself look. To begin with, how or why he was even allowed to retire when he has a suspension order and he has a case built up against him is beyond my belief. Kayo po, who is the bigger threat today? The Moros, the MILF, the BIFF, and whatever rebel FFF they are, which they really belong to, and the other side? We shouldn't say that because you are against total war or any kind of conflict anyway. Or the president, which is what we call his misencounter or his mismanagement. What is the bigger threat?
Well, I think, Harry, with all your respects, I think the bigger threat or the biggest threat is the refusal to accept moral responsibility for that happen.
Will he have to pay for it with dire consequences due his seat as the president?
I am afraid because the world is watching us. China is watching us.
So it's not just the Filipino people?
No, not...
Ang buong mundo nanonood sa kakagawa nitong presidente.
Yes, of course. They are
I never saw it in that perspective.
Yes. Well, look, as expressed by what you read earlier, that one of the motivations here why extraction apparently or no coordination was made or whatever, the statement that I heard about
Stand down,
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, the Nobel Peace Prize. Sinahabol niya.
I mean, if you put in, I hope that is not true, because all these things should not be a consideration in decision-making where life and death is involved. And the Nobel Peace Committee is not stupid. They will look at this thoroughly. If they are thinking that the first time that this nation, to me, to my knowledge, was mentioned as a candidate for Nobel Peace Prize was the EDSA Revolution of 1986. And very responsible people were thinking that perhaps it is the Filipino people who should be awarded, which I agreed. But there were people who were insisting that Cory Aquino will, they quarrel anyway, that is part of their history. I don't want to bring that out anymore. But for me, when you are making a decision of life and death, no personal considerations should come in. Only the highest interest of the Filipino people should be the consideration. That's why I always say, Harry, that if you are trying to look at and understand the problem we have now in Masasapano, it all began on January 9 last year, this year. January
when he met in the Bahay Pangarap.
When they met, because that is the crucial meeting. Imagine if World War II was decided along that line, Hitler will win, hands down.
So, in January 9, to be specific, ladies and gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong, General Almonte, it's simply because he did not follow the proper chain of command. He went to his best friend, General Purisima, who was then suspended.
Yeah.
And he went under the radar. And to to take out from the loop the local government as well as General Espina and the AFP.
Actually, Harry, all those things confuses the audience because you talk about personalities. But really, the whole essence of the whole thing is the nature of the decision making.
The nature of the decision.
Yes. The decision is to serve the warrant. And it is known to Napiñas and the others that that is an armed community. It is a combat area. It's
Yes.
known to them.
Yes.
And you do not serve a police warrant. You know, you're not serving a police warrant in a subdivision.
Yes, sir.
According yung drug factory or whatever. No, you are serving a warrant in a combat area.
Correct.
And so, the police, normal police operation transforms into a military operation.
It does.
Now, the decision there that was made, not just because of what I have said, but the nature of the decision, where, you know, in operations like this, incidentally, I have taught this for many years. This is a combined arms operation. Whether it is a small unit or a theater operation, it has 5 paragraphs. Situation, mission, concept, task, and commanding signal. In the tasking, the last paragraph there is coordination. Now, the coordination is a key portion of the entire operations order. In fact, it's so thick, it is annexed. Because if the operation requires air assets, the air will have a separate program. Naval assets, the Navy will have a separate program. Armor, this is not as big as the air or what, but nonetheless, it's the same. So with field artillery, because you cannot use these assets just by TOT or time on target. Oh, I need this. You know, you need time to be able to prepare all these assets so that they can assist, pinpoint. Because if you do not do that, they may kill their own troops or they may kill civilians. Now, this is known to the military. You know, I don't want to be lecturing here. This is known to them, by the way. This is what they are taught every day. This is at their, this is in their molecule. Now, was disregarded completely. There was no coordination.
But General Purisima, being a 4-star general, a man of military bureaucracy and upbringing, does he not know this? And he was the one who said, ako na bahala kay Katapang, ako bahala kay Espina, wag na natin i-advise sila.
Well,
At sinabi ng presidente yan. Yun ang sinabi niya.
He knows this. But I don't know why they disregarded these fundamental requirements of military operations. Not police operation, military operation.
So right there and then they erred, which caused the death of the 44. Ergo, the threat is Pinoy. And ergo, he's the murderer.
Well, you may call it that way, but I say it is moral responsibility because there is a moral obligation to ensure that the planning is according to established procedures. And if there is it is successful, he gets the credit. If it is unsuccessful, then he takes the responsibility because who will do it for the 100 million Filipinos?
General Almonte, we're at the end of the show, and I'd like to ask you a very sensitive question. Now, you are not a you are not what you call a person who tells the future, but because of your background, your experiences, having served many presidents, being in the scene, being internally in the scene, understanding the military, their thinking, their concepts, and how it works. Where do you see the country in the next 6 months, or better yet, between now and the elections? Yung galit ba ng taong bayan nakikita mo ay parang people power? Ang galit ba ng bayan ay kayang itabi lang, itsipwera ni Pinoy because hawak niya ang Kongreso, hawak niya ang hudikatura, kasi hawak niya yung pera, hawak niya ang pondo. Kaya niya ba umupo at patagalin? Sa mga kabinete po ng presidente, marami na bumabagsak. Si Alca lang ngayon, bago na naman yung sibuyas. Si Abaya, yung mga tren na hindi maandar, mga airport, mga kalye, mga kasinungalingan nilalabas na Malacanang, mga speech writers niya. Just the other day, pinalabas nila. There was an editorial today that He has built 12,000 kilometers of roads. Gee, someone is dreaming somewhere in Malacanang. Regardless of all the kapalpakan ng mga kabinete niya, and what's happening today, and even with the false media when it comes to the false surveys, ano po ang kutob nyo?
Alam mo, Hari, I'm really praying that things as it is today, I'm praying that no one takes advantage of it.
The danger is
I'm
adventurism?
praying that no one takes advantage of it. As I told you, the world is watching us, the region is watching us. Imagine we don't have an armed forces. Our economy is, as you know, where it is. Suppose something happens in the South China Sea, what shall we do? Our ally, the Americans, I'm sure they're very concerned about the situation. They'll be very happy if the Philippines can take care of itself. Vietnam, you know, I was there for 3 years with them from 1966 to 69. You know, they were devastated, but in 30 years, look where they are.
Rebuilt.
Because they have a culture that inspires people to live only when it is right to live.
So, it's a doomsayer scenario. Nakakatakot.
I pray that it will not be that way. We are not trying to threaten or afraid them, you know, for this. But they should think about this, because I am praying that no one takes advantage about this
That's a
situation.
very nice viewpoint. Plus the other viewpoint you brought out about international interests. We fear the Americans, we fear the Chinese, we fear the Malaysians, but we fear most the BIFF. I'm not sure I know exactly what I'm saying there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to end the show, but very quickly before anything else, one more time. The book will help you analyze current events that are unfolding today. The book will help you understand the politics, the diplomacy, the military, and the internal thinkings or the strategies of different governments and administrations. Do yourself a favor, educate and inform yourself. Go out and get a book. General Almonte, maraming salamat po. Is there one last word or sentence you would like to give our viewers before we end the program?
Salamat po. Let us really help each other. Let us pray and help this government succeed, if it can be done. I hope so. Forget the politics. It's our survival.
Maraming salamat po. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed our exasperation together with the people thanks to Malacanang. We move forward, eyes closed, because we don't know what else is going to hit us. Either way, we are asked to pray. And if only that party yesterday afternoon in Malacanang had the CBCP and the Catholics. After all, we do dominate this country. Then again, that's wishful thinking. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. General?
Sige po.